decision that changed everything. Less than 24 hours separated Bronny James from financial security and the most uncertain moment of his young NBA career. First, the Lakers quietly guaranteed his $2.3 million salary for the 2026-27 season. Then reports claimed LeBron James had informed Los Angeles that he planned to continue his career somewhere else. One decision protected the son, the next threatened to rewrite everything around him. That timing immediately created one explosive question across the NBA. Was this simply a coincidence? Or had LeBron planned the sequence like a master chess player? For 2 seasons, Bronny's entire NBA identity had been connected to his father. Every appearance, missed shot, G League assignment, and small breakthrough became part of a national debate about whether he truly belonged. Critics argued that his last name opened the door. Supporters insisted he still deserved the same development time given to other late second-round picks. But once the Lakers guaranteed his contract, Bronny finally had something solid beneath him. His money was secure, his roster spot appeared safer. For one brief moment, his future seemed stable. Then everything changed. If LeBron leaves Los Angeles, Bronny is no longer protected by the same historic father-son story that helped define his arrival. The Lakers must now evaluate him as an individual player, not as part of a family partnership. That could become the greatest opportunity of his career or the moment when the pressure becomes even more intense. Some believe LeBron waited until Bronny's salary was guaranteed before revealing his own plans, ensuring his son had financial protection no matter what happened next. Others believe fans are searching for strategy where none exists, but the result is the same. Bronny is now caught inside a decision he did not control. He could stay in Los Angeles and prove he belongs without his father. He could be traded to LeBron's next team and continue their historic journey together, or he could become the forgotten piece in a massive franchise transition. This is no longer only LeBron's free agency drama. It is Bronny's first true test of independence. Where are you watching from today? Comment your city or country below and subscribe so you do not miss the next chapter. Press 1 if Bronny should stay with the Lakers and prove himself alone. Press 2 if he should follow LeBron to his next team. Security that did not feel secure. Bronny James woke up with a guaranteed contract, but almost nothing else about his future felt guaranteed. On paper, the Lakers had made a clear choice. They could have saved money by moving on, yet they protected his salary and gave him another season to develop. Then LeBron's reported exit changed the meaning of that decision overnight. Bronny was no longer simply a young guard trying to earn minutes. He became a symbol of a relationship the Lakers might be preparing to leave behind. Every conversation around him now carried 2 questions. Does Bronny fit the basketball plan? And does keeping him still make sense without LeBron? Those are not the same question. A franchise can believe in a player's potential while deciding its timeline has changed. Los Angeles is reportedly building around a new offensive center, with Luka Doncic expected to reshape the roster. In that environment, Bronny must prove he can defend, hit open shots, make quick decisions, and contribute without needing the ball. He must also do it while trade rumors follow him into every gym. The Lakers could keep him because his contract is affordable and his development still matters. They could trade him to LeBron's next team for a modest future asset, or they could leave him on the roster while veteran additions push him even farther from meaningful minutes. That is why the guaranteed money does not end the drama. It only gives Bronny time. The real battle is no longer whether his contract survives. It is whether his identity survives when the most powerful connection in his career walks through another door. For the first time, Bronny may have to convince the Lakers that keeping him is not an act of loyalty to LeBron. It is a basketball decision worth making on its own. Was Bronny ever truly wanted? The hardest question surrounding Bronny James has never been about one missed shot or one quiet box score. It has always been more uncomfortable. Would he have reached the Lakers without the name on the back of his jersey? Critics believe the answer is obvious. Bronny was selected with the 55th pick while LeBron remained the face of the franchise, and the father had openly dreamed about sharing an NBA floor with his son. To many fans, the move looked less like traditional scouting and more like a strategy to strengthen the Lakers' relationship with their superstar. That perception followed Bronny before he played a meaningful minute. Every struggle became evidence that he did not belong. Every G League assignment became proof the experiment was failing. Even when he improved, skeptics argued that another player without his last name would never receive the same patience or attention. But the other side mattered. Bronny was not an unknown prospect created by television cameras. He had legitimate recruiting interest, athletic tools, and defensive instincts that suggested a possible NBA role. His college season was also disrupted by a serious medical setback, limiting his preparation before the draft. He was the 55th pick, not a lottery selection. Players chosen that late are usually incomplete. Many spend years moving between the NBA and G League, while teams search for one reliable skill. Bronny's problem is that his development has never been judged by normal second-round standards. The truth may sit between the extremes. His name almost certainly helped open the door. But an open door does not guarantee a career. LeBron's influence may have created the opportunity, yet Bronny still has to defend real NBA players, make real shots, and earn real trust. Now the debate changes completely. The question is no longer whether Bronny received help getting inside, it is whether he can stay once that help is gone. The cruelest verdict. Yet, the uncertainty around Bronny quickly became more than a roster discussion. It turned into a public trial, and one harsh voice delivered a verdict before the Lakers had even made a decision. A prominent radio commentator argued that Bronny should walk away from basketball entirely. His reasoning was simple. If LeBron was leaving, then the purpose of keeping Bronny had disappeared with him. He pointed to modest statistics, limited minutes, and the belief that Los Angeles could easily find another young guard with similar production. That take exploded because it attacked the deepest fear surrounding Bronny's career. Was he only there because of his father? The numbers gave critics ammunition. Bronny had not produced like an established rotation player, and many early appearances came in low-pressure minutes or moments built around the image of father and son sharing the floor. But telling a 2-1-year old to retire after 2 developmental seasons is not analysis. It is a final judgment before the evidence is complete. Late second-round picks are rarely finished products. They need practices, G League assignments, shooting work, defensive repetitions, and freedom to struggle without every mistake becoming national content. Bronny received almost none of that freedom. His worst nights became headlines. While ordinary progress was dismissed as favoritism, nobody inside the Lakers publicly supported the retirement idea. The organization guaranteed his salary, coaches kept investing time, and teammates built relationships with him. Those actions do not prove he will become a reliable NBA player, but they show the door remains open. Bronny is often treated as either a future star or a complete fraud. In reality, he may simply be what many 55th picks are, a young player fighting to develop one dependable NBA role. The loudest opinion may dominate the news cycle. The real verdict will come when the cameras stop waiting for LeBron and start watching Bronny alone. The part everyone forgets: before the contract debate, before the accusations of favoritism, and before every possession became a referendum on his family, Bronny James faced something far more serious than basketball criticism. His college career was interrupted by a medical emergency that could have ended his dream before it truly began. While other prospects spent the offseason refining their games, Bronny had to confront whether he would even be cleared to compete. Returning required patience, medical supervision, and the courage to play again under pressure most young athletes never experience. Yet when the draft arrived, that context became a footnote. People saw the last name, the 55th pick, and LeBron's influence. They did not always see a teenager whose development timeline had been interrupted. They did not see the lost practices, missed rhythm, or emotional weight of rebuilding confidence after a frightening health scare. None of that automatically proves Bronny deserves an NBA roster spot. Professional basketball is not a sympathy contest, but it explains why his path cannot be evaluated like a normal prospect's path. His rookie season was uneven, minutes were scarce, and some appearances felt more ceremonial than competitive. Still, he kept working. He accepted G League assignments, absorbed criticism, and gradually looked more comfortable defending at NBA speed. When injuries created a small opportunity later, he showed flashes of better decision-making and confidence. Those flashes were not a finished product. They were evidence that development was still happening. Bronny's challenge is not becoming LeBron. That standard would be impossible. His real challenge is becoming useful. A guard who defends, moves the ball, hits enough open threes, and earns trust in short stretches. Surviving adversity does not guarantee success, but it reveals character. Bronny has already fought through a moment that could have taken basketball away from him. Now he must prove that returning was only the beginning. The signs of a real NBA player. For most of Bronny James's early career, the conversation focused on what he could not do. He was not a primary scorer, an elite creator, or a player ready to control an NBA offense. But young role players do not survive by doing everything. They survive by proving they can do a few things reliably. That is where Bronny's progress matters. His outside shot began to look more stable. The percentages remained modest, but no longer disastrous for a developing guard. He appeared more comfortable taking catch-and-shoot opportunities instead of hesitating. On defense, his strength and quickness gave him a chance to pressure guards, fight through screens, and bring energy without demanding touches. Those skills matter beside a ball-dominant superstar. If the Lakers are reshaping the roster around Luka Doncic, Bronny's path becomes clear. He does not need to run the offense. He needs to space the floor, make the simple pass, defend at the point of attack, and turn limited minutes into useful possession. Late in his second season, injuries created real opportunities, and Bronny responded with better composure. He did not suddenly become a star, but he looked less like a ceremonial roster piece and more like a player learning how to survive. That distinction is enormous. Bronny still has major work ahead. His finishing, playmaking, and overall efficiency need improvement. Extended G League minutes away from the national spotlight could help him develop properly, but the claim that there is no basketball player beneath the famous name is becoming harder to defend. The talent is not overwhelming, yet the outline of a role is visible. Now Bronny must turn flashes into habits, because NBA careers are not built on potential forever. Eventually, potential has to become trust. 10 teams, one uncomfortable question. LeBron James's reported free agency market looked less like a normal search and more like a league-wide tour involving contenders, former homes, and franchises dreaming about one final championship run. Golden State became one of the loudest possibilities. The idea of LeBron joining Stephen Curry and Draymond Green was almost too dramatic to ignore. Their basketball intelligence, championship experience, and personal relationships created a vision that could dominate the league's attention. But excitement is not certainty. Reports suggested the Warriors' confidence later cooled, opening the door for other teams. Cleveland carried the strongest emotional pull because it offered LeBron the chance to finish where his career began. Miami represented another reunion. New York, Dallas, Denver, Philadelphia, Boston, Minnesota, and San Antonio each offered a different mix of talent, legacy, and ambition. Yet every team considering LeBron would face one uncomfortable question: does Bronny come with him? For some organizations, acquiring Bronny on a modest contract would be a small price for landing LeBron. A future second-round pick might be enough to convince the Lakers. The move would generate attention and continue the historic father-son partnership. From a basketball perspective, it is more complicated. A contender has limited roster spots. Trading for Bronny simply to satisfy a family preference could strengthen the belief that his career is being carried by his father's influence. That is the trap. If Bronny follows LeBron, he preserves a once-in-a-lifetime family experience, but risks making the criticism louder. If he stays in Los Angeles, he loses the protection of his father's presence, but gains the clearest chance to build an identity that belongs only to him. The next decision must serve either the father's final chapter or the son's long-term future. Those goals may no longer point in the same direction. Stay in Los Angeles or follow his father? Bronny James is now standing between two completely different futures, and whichever road he takes could define how the basketball world remembers his career. The first path keeps him in Los Angeles. Staying with the Lakers would give Bronny something young players desperately need: continuity. He already understands the coaching system, the training staff, the expectations, and the personalities inside the locker room. His teammates have watched him struggle, adjust, and slowly become more comfortable with the speed of the NBA. That familiarity may not sound dramatic, but for a developing guard fighting for every minute, it matters. More importantly, staying would finally force the basketball world to evaluate Bronny without LeBron standing beside him. For the first time, every strong defensive possession would belong to Bronny. Every improved shooting night would be credited to his work. Every promotion from the G League would feel earned instead of arranged. The questions about his father would never disappear completely, but distance could weaken them. Los Angeles may also offer a clear basketball role if Bronny embraces it. With the offense expected to run through Luka Doncic, the Lakers need guards who can defend, hit open shots, move without the ball, and make quick decisions. Bronny does not have to become a superstar, he has to become reliable. That path would be difficult. Veterans could take his minutes, new signings could push him deeper down the depth chart. Every mistake would still be magnified, but remaining with the Lakers would allow Bronny to fight for something that is entirely his own. The second path leads wherever LeBron chooses. Emotionally, following his father makes perfect sense. Very few athletes ever share a professional locker room with a parent. Bronny and LeBron have already created history, and extending that experience through LeBron's final seasons could become one of the most meaningful chapters of their life. A new team might also provide Bronny with a fresh beginning. A different coaching staff could see skills the Lakers overlooked. A new system could create a better fit. If the destination is a team with strong veteran leadership, Bronny could learn in a competitive environment while remaining close to the person who understands the pressure better than anyone. But the move would carry a dangerous cost. Bronny would not arrive as an ordinary young player. He would arrive as part of LeBron's package. Critics would immediately question whether the new team truly wanted him or simply accepted him to secure his father. Every roster decision would become suspicious. Every minute would be examined. Every mistake would strengthen the belief that Bronny's career still depends on LeBron's influence. That could make it even harder for him to build an independent identity. The most loving decision for LeBron may not be keeping his son beside him. It may be giving Bronny the space to struggle, grow, and earn respect without protection. Sometimes support means opening a door. Other times, it means stepping away so the person behind you can prove he belongs. Bronny now has to decide what matters more at this stage of his life. continuing a historic family journey, or beginning a professional journey that belongs only to him. One path keeps father and son together. The other could finally reveal the player Bronny James is capable of becoming. The three endings that could change everything. There are three realistic ways Bronny James' situation could end, and each one carries a different kind of opportunity, pressure, and danger. The first ending is independence. The Lakers keep Bronny and publicly commit to developing him as a basketball player rather than treating him as the final piece of the LeBron era. They give him a clear plan, meaningful G League minutes, defined goals, and honest opportunities to earn a role. This path would demand patience from everyone. Bronny would likely spend nights outside the national spotlight, playing in smaller arenas and working on the details that decide whether a young guard survives in the league. He would need to improve his shooting consistency, decision-making, ball security, and defensive discipline. He would have to accept that progress might come slowly, but independence offers the greatest reward. If Bronny eventually earns rotation minutes without LeBron in the building, the entire narrative changes. He would no longer be remembered only as the son who received an opportunity. He would become the player who kept that opportunity after the protection disappeared. The second ending is reunion. LeBron chooses his next destination, and that team makes a deal to bring Bronny with him. Because Bronny's contract is affordable, the price might be no more than a future second-round pick or another minor asset. From a business standpoint, the transaction could be simple. From an emotional standpoint, it would be enormous. Father and son would continue sharing practices, road trips, victories, and the final stretch of LeBron's historic career. For the James family, those memories could be worth more than any outside opinion. But the reunion would also freeze Bronny inside the same debate he has been trying to escape. Did the new team trade for him because it believed in his potential, or because LeBron requested it? Would the coaching staff feel free to reduce his minutes? Would every roster decision become influenced by the need to keep LeBron comfortable? Even if Bronny improved, critics could dismiss that progress as another benefit of his father's power. The family story would continue, but the individual story might remain unfinished. The third ending is limbo, and it may be the most dangerous one. The Lakers keep Bronny because his contract is inexpensive, but they never create a real developmental plan. New veterans arrive. The rotation becomes crowded. Bronny sits at the end of the bench, receives occasional G League assignments, and waits for injuries to create temporary opportunities. He remains an NBA player on paper, but his growth quietly stalls. This outcome would allow the Lakers to avoid a difficult decision, but avoiding a decision is still a decision. Young players cannot develop through uncertainty alone. They need minutes, coaching, repetition, and a clear understanding of what the organization expects from them. Bronny cannot spend another season being treated like a symbol. If Los Angeles believes in him, the franchise must invest in him. If the Lakers do not see a future role, they should send him somewhere that does. Keeping him only because the contract is convenient would protect the roster sheet while damaging the player. There is also a fourth possibility hiding beneath all three endings. Bronny forces the decision himself. A strong training camp, improved shooting, and elite defensive effort could make the debate less complicated. Basketball has a way of silencing speculation when performance becomes undeniable. Bronny may not control LeBron's destination or the Lakers' strategy, but he still controls how prepared he is when the next opportunity arrives. That is where his power begins. The Lakers can choose to keep him or trade him. LeBron can choose to bring him along or give him space. The media can continue debating whether he belongs, but only Bronny can decide how much better he becomes before the next chapter starts. Bronny's real career begins after LeBron leaves. The biggest mistake people make when discussing Bronny James is treating opportunity and achievement as if they are the same thing. They are not. LeBron's influence may have helped open the NBA door. The Lakers may have valued the historic chance to place father and son on the same court. Bronny's last name created attention, access, and patience that most players selected near the end of the second round never receive. Those advantages are real, and pretending otherwise would make the story less honest. But an advantage can create a beginning. It cannot guarantee an ending. LeBron cannot defend Bronny's assignment on every possession. He cannot take the open shot for him. He cannot make coaches trust him in the final minutes of a close game. Once the ball is in play, the family name becomes less important than preparation, discipline, and execution. That is why Bronny's real career may begin only after LeBron leaves. Strategically, the Lakers must make their next decision with clarity. If they believe Bronny can develop into a dependable point-of-attack defender and spot-up shooter, they should build a serious plan around those skills. Give him extended G League minutes. Set measurable goals. Let him run possessions, defend stronger competition, and learn through mistakes away from the loudest national camera. Development cannot be ceremonial. It must be intentional. If the Lakers do not believe he fits their future around Luka Doncic and the new roster, they should be honest. A trade to a team willing to invest in his growth could be healthier than another season spent waiting at the end of the bench. The worst strategy would be keeping him without purpose. LeBron also has a difficult responsibility. He has already given Bronny an extraordinary experience by sharing an NBA court with him. But the next act of support may require restraint. Bringing Bronny to another team could protect him emotionally and extend the family story. Letting him remain behind could force him to become more independent. There is no painless answer, but LeBron must ask whether his presence is still helping Bronny grow or preventing the league from seeing him as his own man. For Bronny, the plan should be brutally simple. Improve the shot until defenders cannot ignore him. Become disciplined enough on defense that coaches trust him against quick guards. Make fast, safe decisions. Cut without the ball. Compete for loose possessions. Accept G League minutes as development, not punishment. Stop trying to prove he is LeBron's son and start proving he can help a team win 5 minutes at a time. That is how role players build career. Bronny does not need to become an all-star to justify his place. He does not have to match his father's legacy, records, or fame. That standard would be unfair to almost any player in basketball history. He needs to become useful, dependable, and mentally strong enough to survive judgment from people who decided what he was before watching him grow. There is also a human lesson inside this story. Bronny should not be reduced to privilege alone, because privilege does not erase hard work, medical adversity, or emotional pressure. But he should not be protected from honest evaluation either. Respect means acknowledging both sides. He received an extraordinary opportunity, and he still deserves the chance to prove what he can do with it. The same principle applies beyond basketball. Parents can create opportunities, provide guidance, and protect their children from unnecessary harm. But eventually, every young person needs room to face consequences, make decisions, and build an identity that cannot be borrowed from someone else. That may be the final gift LeBron gives his son. Not another roster spot, but the freedom to earn one. Bronny's future remains uncertain, but uncertainty does not have to mean failure. It can also mean possibility. He is still young, his skills are still developing. His career is not finished simply because the circumstances around him have changed. In many ways, it is only now beginning. Where are you watching from today? Comment your city, state, or country below. Press 1 if Bronny should remain with the Lakers and build his own identity. Press 2 if he should follow LeBron and continue their historic journey together. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with another NBA fan who has an opinion about what Bronny should do next.